Hey, it's Shane Esterero from Victory Realty Group.
And I'm Victor Esterero from Victory Realty Group.
Today, we're just going to talk about a few of the things that we like and dislike about the city of Kitchener. All right, so like I said, we're just going to talk about a few of the things we like and a few of the things we dislike about the city of Kitchener. So we're going to go ahead and start with the things we're not so fond of.
So the first thing we want to talk about is cyclability. A lot of the big cities are working hard at trying to set up actual bike lanes and trying to encourage people to use their bikes to get to work rather than driving and so on. The thing about Kitchener, it's still a relatively new concept, so a lot of the cycle lanes aren't set up as well as they could be. The two pictures we show you have barriers, but not all of them do. So the cyclists are a little mingled in a little bit more with traffic, which is an ideal. And then the other thing is, I think, as in every other city, they're just going to take a little while to get used to. So we see, for example, this truck is parked right in the bike lane. So the drivers, the vehicles, just aren't respecting the bike lanes as of yet. But I'm sure that in time, everybody will get used to it and things will get better.
So one of the things that I dislike about living in the city of Kitchener is the winter. If you've spent any time in southwestern Ontario, you know that we can get some pretty long and harsh winters, sometimes all the way from mid October to mid April. We can still see days that are below freezing and have some snow. If you're from out east or northern Ontario, it's nothing that you're not used to. It's not quite as harsh as you guys would be used to experiencing. But if you're coming from down south or out west in BC, it's something that you're going to want to take note of before you move here.
Okay, and then one thing we'll talk about is the fact that it is such a growing city, and the lack of a major airport is a bit of an issue for me. We went to a presentation put on by the manager of the Regional Waterloo Airport, and he even mentioned that it is their goal to develop and increase the size of the airport, but they need to see more ridership before that. So I think they're getting about 80,000 flights a year right now at this airport, and we're seeing other regional airports like in London or Hamilton that have because they've signed some major carriers, they're all the way up at around 500,000 flights a year. So I know that the manager mentioned, companies like Google and all these tech companies that are starting up here. That's one of the things that they focus on. They're really calling for a bit of an improvement in the size of our airport, and I think it is coming. We just have to be a little more patient.
So another thing I've noticed since I moved to Kitchener is the dispute between Kitchener residents and Waterloo residents. There are people that live in Kitchener that say they'll never move to Waterloo or don't even like to visit, and vice versa. They kind of look down on each other, even though a lot of people from around the area tend to think of Kitchener and Waterloo as just one city, and I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Sure, there's good parts and bad parts of every city, but if we don't focus so much on tearing the other one down, I think we'll be better off for it.
All right, now we'll talk about some of the things that we do like, which there are quite a few of. So the first one is the diverse economy. So it's a fact that I've lived through quite a few recessions now, and I've noticed that in this specific area, Waterloo, Wellington area, we don't tend to feel the effects of a recession compared to other parts of the country or even other parts of Ontario. So up on the screen now you see just an example of some of the diverse businesses and things that we have in the city that help us just basically ride those downward cycles through and make it easier to tolerate. So, I mean, we see everything from the high tech companies in here to manufacturing to insurance. The universities are big business, so we have Waterloo, Guelph, Laurier, and then Conestoga College is one of the largest colleges in the country. So, a lot going on here to the point where, like I said before, we just don't seem to feel the economic downturns like the rest of the country does.
Another great thing about living in Kitchener is the proximity to everything. If we take a look at this map, you'll see we're about an hour drive east to Toronto. And then if we drive west from Kitchener, it takes about an hour to get to London as well. But within half an hour, we have quite a few cities that are big city centers that are just half an hour's drive away, like Guelph, Hamilton, Cambridge. We're also pretty close to the border. If you want to drive down to the States, it takes about an hour and a half from Kitchener just to cross the border.
Okay, and then if you're a sports fan, we have major junior hockey team, the Kitchener Rangers here. So they play at the Kitchener Auditorium. It's a pretty nice sized rink, and they fill it up pretty well every game. So I think they get over 7,000 fans a game. So it's pretty entertaining. I mean, they put a pretty good product on the ice most years. This, I think, is the last time they won the OHL championship. So yeah, it's a fun night out, and one of the nice entertaining things that you can do if you're into hockey.
So one of my favorite parts about living in Kitchener is the Oktoberfest every year. Kitchener actually has the largest Oktoberfest in the world outside of Germany. Uh, it's one of the things that I look forward to every year. I know opening night at Concordia is usually one of the best nights of the year, and it's a great couple of weeks. It takes place right around Thanksgiving, so it's always fun to go catch up with friends and colleagues there.
And then the trail system, if you're an outdoorsy type person, we have the Iron Horse trails, just to mention one. But you can see these green points on this map here just show you a number of the options as far as going hiking and enjoying some of what nature has to offer. We have the Grand River River Valley that runs through Kitchener, so a lot of real beautiful nature to look at.
Another one of my favorite parts about Kitchener is the downtown core area. You see an overhead picture here of downtown. It's got a lot of nice restaurants, pubs, bars, lot of fun things to do on just any night out, and there's a lot of festivals throughout the summer months, as well as the Kitchener Market that takes place, farmers market on Saturday mornings. So there's also a lot of new condo developments that are cropping up in the downtown core area. So over the next 4 or 5 years, we're probably going to be able to see a lot more people be able to enjoy this downtown area.
Yeah, and Victoria Park is one of my favorite places to go. It is right downtown, so it always reminds me of kind of like a little miniature Central Park in Manhattan. If you look at an overhead picture of the city of Kitchener, right in the downtown core, you can actually see the Victoria Park area as well. So with that the picture Shane had up before showing King Street in the downtown core at night, this is literally about a 3 or 4 minute walk from that core area, and it's a huge park with lots of water. If you have pets, you want to go just hang out on a nice a day with nice weather. It's actually a great place to go spend some time.
So another huge plus we have in Kitchener is the GO station. It's located downtown, about 5 minutes away from Victoria Park as well. Um, right now, we have they're offering trains all the way to Toronto every day, but one of the things that they have announced is there's going to be two-way service all day from to and from Kitchener and Toronto, and that's supposed to come. Sounds like 2024 that's going to be in effect. So we'll be able to take a lot more advantage of that.
And then we'll spend some time talking about our new LRT system. So, a lot of the big cities, that's one of the things you always hear about is do they have an LRT system? Kitchener and Waterloo, the whole region, got ours up and running a little less than a year ago. And, a lot of people look at that and say, why is that so important? It's just a streetcar basically to move some people around. How many people are actually going to use it? Well, I've been surprised at the number of people that are using it, but that's not the most important thing. What you need to consider is all of the economic development that we're going to continue to see along those routes, right? So if you go to a regular city with bus routes can be changed, on a monthly basis if they want. But once you lay these permanent tracks down, they're not going to move anytime soon. So all that land that's within walking distance of the LRT routes becomes that much more valuable. So we're going to see a lot of really cool things popping up along those routes for years and years to come. Okay, well that's our talk about the city of Kitchener. As always, if you guys have any questions about anything, you can reach out to us anytime. VictoryRealtyGroup.ca is probably the easiest way to get in touch with us. But yeah, if you have any other questions about Kitchener at all, well, we look forward to hearing from you. Take care.
Thanks for watching.